Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to try and help some comic creators reach their crowdfunding goals because making comics is hard. Getting people to buy those comics is even harder, though, and we're here to help.
Today, Destiny will choose 3 indie comic campaigns for us to look at and review. By the end of the show, we will choose who to give our money to based off of that pitch. Watch to the end, see if you agree. So in the meantime, you know what that means. Let's spin that wheel because
There can be only one.
keeping super producer Ray on his toes.
Keep him on his toes. We like that.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Fridays are always a great day here in Action Line Studios. So today in this video, we're going to dive deep into 3 indie comics. We're going to discuss some crowdfunding strategies. My name is Matt Campbell. I've worked in film and animation and comics for over 20 years now. And I've done Kickstarter campaigns since like 2016. So I want to share the things that I've learned so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. And with me, as always, is Smurf.
Greetings, I'm Smurf. I am the owner of 5280 Geek. I started in comic books in 1986. That was my first convention, and I have been going ever since. I've owned 2 comic book stores. I am a writer. I was an on-air personality, and I have a degree in broadcast and marketing. So that's just the quick rundown. It's much lengthier than that.
Oh, yeah.
I even worked for Beats Head. I've met Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine. I've hung out with Santana at the Grammys. I've done a lot of things.
Did you know I used to be a manager of a comedy club in Oklahoma City called Joker's Comedy Club? And while I was there, I got to hang out with Chris Rock, Tommy Chong, George Carlin.
Carlin,
a lot of fun
legend.
people.
I saw him in Vegas in like the early 90s, and I loved Carlin's stand-up. The man was just a genius. Absolutely. I've done stand-up. I've done a couple impromptu improvs. The Squire Lounge, I've done that. So, just depends on the day. What's Smurf doing? What day is it? That's the question. So, there we go.
Yeah, every time I check in with you, you're off doing some other big event.
Yes. This weekend is Iacon, which is a free-to-attend event downtown Denver, which is right off of Colfax and Broadway, essentially, at the McNichols complex. It should be a good time, and I'm excited to go down there. A lot of our fellow artists are going to be down there hanging out and slinging some wares. And then it's October already, so Halloween abounds.
Right on. Yeah, Halloween is coming. October's here. A lot of people are doing Inktober.
Inktober, yeah. Are you doing Inktober this year? You did last year, didn't you?
Not this year. I've got too many things on my plate that I need to wrap up anyway. I am gonna try to, jump in and do some morning drawings and stuff. I want to get back into the daily routine. Lately, I've been doing a lot of the business hat wearing side of things. Managing. We just wrapped up our Kickstarter, so there's a lot of managing the rest of the team. So yeah, I definitely want to get back into it, but I didn't want to have any sort of added stress going on right now. I'm trying to keep my stress levels low right now.
It's probably wise.
Yeah.
I mean, Kickstarter alone is just stressful. It's like worse than buying a house.
It is. And, if anyone has ever done a Kickstarter, they can attest to this. It is, a constant job every day to try and promote in different ways. You're trying to get, the word out there without just sounding redundant or trying to just badger people, so you're trying to be creative about it. And you're looking at the numbers and then you'll see them go back down because someone canceled. And you're just freaking out. So it is stressful. But like I said, we're here to help. We want to share the things that we've learned to help you guys have the best campaign possible. This is believe it or not, our 23rd episode. bringing you the best indie comics on the market.
Yes, and
You read
today
that?
is Buckaroo Banzai Day. No, it's
Oh,
not.
I
I'm
love
just
it.
making that. It's just
Oh.
Buckaroo Banzai. I don't know what day Buckaroo Banzai is.
There is my Action Line Studios hockey shirt.
I like that. Preseason is well underway. I think the Avalanche finally won their first game last night against
Right.
Utah, which all of a sudden has a hockey team. I'm like, what? What the hell?
I know. I mean, it's like Hawaii having a hockey team or something, you know?
Right? It just does not fit the mold well.
Also, do want to give a shout out and congratulations to last week's winner, The Knight by Charles Selner. So this week we're going to look at 3 new campaigns. We have a bunch on the Wheel of Destiny this week, but the wheel will decide 3 for us, and then we are going to do a deep dive into these different campaigns. We're going to dive in deep, baby.
That's what she said.
All right. So shall we get to it?
Spin that wheel.
Let's see who we got on the Wheel of Destiny this week. Let's see. All right. First up, I'm going to go down the list, see who we got. We've got Red Cat, Celebrity Status. Sherlock Holmes, The Phantom Mask. Loogie, number 1.
That's got to be Luigi. That can't be Loogie. Can it be Loogie? Okay, maybe it's Loogie.
I think it's spelled Loogie. I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay.
The View of the Phoenix Trees. Jetta Ray, Strange Horror. Ferryman Tales Presents. Pitter Patter, Let's Get at Her. You know what?
Returning for a second week.
I just realized while I was reading these that I'm not sharing that wheel. So
I just thought you were just like building the suspense for the wheel to come up.
Hey, that works. That's what I was doing.
That's what you were doing, right? There you go.
Yeah.
Da-da-da!
There we go. Let's see. We've got Pitter Patter. We've got Mega Maiden. Danger Squad. Super Team International. Maggie Thorne. And lastly, Bixby Grant, Fangs and Brimstone. So lots of fun entries. Let's get at it. Let's spin that wheel.
Let's fucking go!
There can be only one Highlander type situation. Behold, my wheel of
Destiny!
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Time to spin the wheel.
There we go. First one up. Pitter Patter.
All right.
All right. First one up is Pitter Patter. That's funny that we have that in our intro as well.
Let's get at her.
You writing these down, sir?
Hell yeah, I'm trying to be good at my job.
All right, good job. Next up, number 2 on the Wheel of Destiny. We're going to find out the answer to whether or not it's Loogie or Luigi. Loogie, number 1.
Loogie.
I think you're right.
Probably.
And lastly, but not leastly, who's going to be on the Wheel of Destiny? Looks like Maggie Thorne. All right. Congratulations to those 3 that Destiny has selected.
Don't forget, if your campaign is still active next week, resubmit. We'll be more than happy to give Destiny another try. But as long as it's an active campaign, not a shop, not something else, we would be happy to give it another go. I'm sorry.
Right.
Did I just run over your lines there? I'm sorry.
No, I love it. I love it. You already know now everything I'm going to say. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, and there's a chaos storm inside my head, so Lord only knows what's going to come out. That's one day you'll know. One day.
Chaos storm, huh?
Hmm.
I mean, I got some chaos storing in my brain right now, too, to be honest. All right. So let's pitter patter. Let's get at her.
Yeah.
Let's dive in. Our first one looks like it's on Indiegogo today, which is fun. So, 104-page full color dark comedy graphic novel by Debbie Harvey. Looks like they have hit their goal, 125% of goal with 17s left. So congratulations on that. This cover's got a very was it Gem from the 1980s cartoon Gem?
Yeah, Gem and the holograms.
Yeah.
I was gonna say she kind of looks like Phyllis Diller a little bit.
I was just looking at the font, but yeah.
The font, yeah. I mean, it does that, but I was like, is that Phyllis Diller? I was like, wow, that's impressive. Okay.
So
it is very Gem. Look at the next font. That is Gem.
Yeah, it is. I mean, let's see. The Indiegogo is set up a little bit different as far as like the order of things. So let's see what we can find here. Down in the story, it says we've got an introduction with a castle with a huge skull on it, little Castle Grayskull style going on here.
Nice.
And then it says, hello and welcome to the Indiegogo campaign for my third book, Pitter Patter. It's an 8.5 by 11 full color, 104-page graphic novel, first book in a 3-book miniseries. It's extremely campy, manic, dark comedy, fever dream about Blush Saltador, a small-town boy raised in a secret society who has big-time dreams of using his family line's mystical powers to rule the world in a reign of terror. And then you have this
Yikes.
very intense-looking face. Yes, that is yikes.
Grr.
Yeah,
that's a hard poop day face. Just like, like
go to your home.
What's wrong with you?
All
right.
So, continuing on, it says it chronicles his rise and fall and triumphant rise again as he goes from lovable 80s television celebrity to diabolical doomsday cult leader and all the friends he meets on the way. The elevator pitch has been it's kind of a cross between Rocky Horror Picture Show and Carrie. All right.
Okay.
I don't see any kind of video, so we're just going to probably be basing it off of that. Looks like somebody familiar too.
It's the happy tree guy.
Yeah, it does look like Bob Ross. All these people look like they're like kind of drawn over other people. Just like
all right. I like it. That looks like Ron Jeremy. I'm having fun with this. All right. I'm digging it.
So one thing I do like right away is we're getting a lot of look at the interior of the book. So we definitely get a feel for what we're going to get from this book. And then we've got some more craziness here. So yeah, this
you
is
can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind because if they don't dance.
Yeah, there's a whole. I could definitely tell there's like some participation, maybe from some friends and some drawing over of likenesses, but it looks like they're having fun with it. So I don't think we're gonna get anything in as far as a video, but
I don't know. You know what? I'm kind of digging the whole playful aspect of the stop motion dance maneuvers. I'm actually I almost think a video would ruin it unless the video had that in it. I mean, to be honest,
I feel like the video would need to definitely match the tone.
Yes,
and the campiness and the fun of it. So we've got the tone, we've got the fun. I'm enjoying that. What do you think about like we got a little bit of a pitch about the person and what they're after? Was that enough for you to know what's going on?
I mean, I think so. I mean, I know the who, the what, the why. I know about them. We've got 2 more books coming after this one. So, I mean, all of the key questions have been answered. Now it's just like, okay, give me the story. I'm ready to read this. So, and like the whole presentation, like I said, this is fun. And like I said, if they did a video, I think it would almost wreck the presentation and everything that they've put, the work that they've put into this. This is great. I mean, there's still like stretch goals and all of that, but I mean, I don't know how you would fit that into already what they've given us, because I think I'm hooked. I can't really suggest anything else to improve this pitch, and it's obvious that this is not their first go, and they've already hit goal and have exceeded. So I applaud you. Well done. Well done.
Yeah. Like I said, I think this is fun, and the pitch gets the fun across. It sets the tone. We know that right away in this book, we're going to get some comedy. We're going to get something different. There's going to be some perhaps some horror elements. Like they said, with like a cross between Carrie. So I think there's a clear enough indication that you know what you're getting. And then in the description, we know that there's a character that is going to go from 80s television celebrity to diabolical cult leader, and all the friends he meets along the way. So,
I mean, it feels like South Park to me. It really feels like Butters if he grew up. I mean, I immediately started thinking about like Captain Chaos and the South Park kind of outline, and this fits right into it. I think this is perfect levity, and it's very well written. Whoever storyboarded this and laid it out, it's very well written, very well executed.
Yeah, and so what can we learn from this? Moving forward and helping out other people is number one. This clearly lets us know like what's the value we're going to get from backing this comic. We're going to get some laughs. We're going to get some horror, and that's one of the first things that I try to tell people when they're setting up their campaign is like, there's a lot of books for people to choose from every single week. I didn't pull up the stats this week, but last week it was like 250 to 300 books that are available on Kickstarter. This is Indiegogo. It's a whole nother platform. So altogether, you're probably talking about 400 or 500 books available on the crowdfunding market every single week. So you can't just go on there and say, hey, here's my comic, here's the art. You got to give them a reason to want to get your comic. And one of the easiest way to do that is like tell them like, what are they going to get out of this? They're going to get some hardcore action and gory fight scenes, or they're going to get some fun, campy, Rocky Horror Picture Show type of humor. And this not only tells us that, but it also shows us that in a couple of different ways with like the gifts and stuff. So I think they did a great job with that.
No, it absolutely delivers. I mean, last week we had like veterans, and instead of focusing on the work, they focused on their careers, which you and I both agree is a mistake, because we're not buying you, we're buying your work. And we didn't see anything. Here we've got plenty to look at, and they haven't spoiled a damn thing. If anything, I am more intrigued, and I want to do like the funky dance moves. I love that. That is, I'm gonna load that up into my phone later. What's Smurf doing? He's doing the pitter patter. Yes, that's it. Safety dance to the pitter patter. That's it. Oh my God, love that idea. The pitter patter.
Well, pitter patter, let's get at her.
Oh,
we're having fun today. So is there anything, before we move on to the next one, is there anything you can think of that could make this campaign better? Because one thing that, we know is that we can always improve things. And when we look at this campaign, I'm trying to scroll back up here. They hit their goal, so that's fantastic. And they have 34 backers, right? So in the wide world of, the globe, what do we have, like 8 billion people on the globe? And if this is only going to the United States, you've got, how many billion do we have in the United States? Like 1.5, 2 billion, right? So 34 people is a small number, right? It's not even a crumb.
That's not even a percent.
Right. So I think, obviously we talked about they got a fun, great product. So the real question is, how do we reach more people? Right. So
I
any
think
thoughts on that one?
I mean, aside from like everybody selling it or sharing it, and I'm sure there's a comic shop that these people frequent, I would definitely get the comic book shop involved a little bit more. The stretch goals, I mean, we didn't see any stretch goals. It doesn't mean that they're not there, but they're not prevalent
I'll look
enough.
while you're talking.
So, I mean, that's the other thing. You have other previous works, maybe a digital download of the last story arc as a stretch goal, a GIF. I mean, I don't know if you could send the pitter patter dance to people as a GIF for, funding, but I think you guys are already creative and fun with what you're marketing in your pitch. Expand on that. Make it a larger platform so that you can reach more people, because you're missing out. In fact, I would, for the last 5 days, I would be sharing that GIF on Instagram and Twitter nonstop, because it's eye catching, it's quick, and it's creative. It's an easy viral hit waiting to happen. Absolutely. So I'd be sharing the crap out of it right now. Every day.
Yeah, actually, now that you do mention the goals, and Ray, our super producer, he's down with the facts, right? There's 333 million people in the U.S., not 2 billion.
Are you sure? I feel like that's just like downtown Denver.
It does feel like that. So based on what you were saying, I was looking at the campaign while you were talking, and I think that is an opportunity for some growth in the backer numbers of this campaign. And that is that if we pull the campaign again, I'm looking at the reward levels, and off to the right, you can see the very first reward they have is $30 for the book, and a lot of people did get that. And then there's another price for books that are outside of the USA. And then they go up, and there's literally only four levels. There's a really high one that's like 125, which I always recommend having some high tiers, but there is nothing down at the like $5 and $10 range in the digital level. So, that my last campaign, I feel like the tides have shifted a little bit when it comes to campaign crowdfunding, and that a lot of people can take a safe chance on a book they haven't heard anything about by backing it digitally and reading it, and then in the back of your book put a QR code that they can go to your website and buy it in print. But the the fact that there are no digital tiers whatsoever is a little probably a factor that's making some people unwilling to commit, because $30 that might include shipping, but $30 for a book that you haven't heard about is a big commitment, right? And so a $5 or $10 tier that's just the digital could probably bring in a lot of numbers in your support, get them interested, get a following building, a bigger following, a faster following. So I think that would benefit a lot, right?
Yeah, I think that's the lower levels. I mean, you always want like the entry level kind of thanks for the support, just a quick little acknowledgement, kickback towards the fans and the supporters. And I think that's usually one of the number one misses that we have seen over our 23 episodes, is the lower tiers kind of just looked overlooked, and they're always focused on the whales, which is fine, but catch enough fish, you can feed a whale, right? Just saying.
My old high school friend Chris says, "I'd be curious if you find the biggest tier purchase is the level at which you get the physical book. If you find the biggest level at which you get the physical book." I don't 100% follow the question yet. Help me out, Smurf. I'd be curious if you find the biggest tier purchase is the level at which you get the physical book. And this one, it's all of them are physical. There are no digital, but
there are no digital. It's all physical.
But maybe he might be talking about a campaign that is set up all digital, and then the highest tier is the physical one. But in this case, for $125, you get the book, and you have your illustrated portrait attributed on the Hall of Fame page, plus stickers and some prints. And they had like 6 people claim that. and it ships worldwide. So that's a pretty, cool reward to get your portrait drawn. I always recommend having some higher tiers, but I definitely on this one would recommend having some lower digital tiers to get in more backers. Right.
Mm-hmm. And even just to promote the previous works. I mean, you've already made your money off of it. Now it's gravy. So I would be promoting those previous stories to just kind of keep the traction going. But I mean, like I said, this is nitpicking stuff. This is just to finish and go, because I'm digging this campaign. So they got at her. Let's just put it that they got at her.
They did. All right. So the next campaign that we're going to get to is probably going to fall into the category of, one of the ways that you can really easily have a successful campaign on Kickstarter in particular, but probably even on Indiegogo, is to have a sexy girl book. And switching over to this tab, we can see that that's what this book is.
Boobies?
It's a boobies book.
Yes! Shots
fired. All right. So, and yeah, the reason I say that is I've been watching Kickstarter now for almost 10 years. And in the last, 4 or 5, it's really increased in any book that switches over to, a sexy book.
Adult themed.
There we go. Thank you. Does really, really well. Obviously that's that's the way people are, I think. So if you're struggling, and you have an idea for a book like that, then maybe you want to try it out. But this one's doing super well. It has $1,000 goal, and then it's currently at almost 8,000 monies raised and 210 backers with 27 days to go, which means most of that happens pretty quickly. So there's still a lot. My guess is they'll probably break 10 if the rate that's going
easily. So I mean, that's it's impressive, and I like the fun kind of thumbnail we got going on. So I mean, obviously, it's speaking to a lot of people, especially when you consider you got 210 and you're well past $7,000. That's like, damn. So they better have some impressive stretch goals.
Yeah. And if you really want to get people's attention, combine, adult themed with a little bit of manga style. You hit those two markets, you're going to get a lot of backers based on just the look alone. Like some of them don't even care what the story is at that point.
No, I mean, this lady looks like she's out of Pokemon. I mean, she looks like she's a trainer. I'm not going to lie.
So let's get into it. Loogie number 1, Junkyard Hijinks. A post-apocalyptic cheesecake battle shonen packed with 48 pages of wasteland wrestling and unlikely friendships. So in the tagline alone, we know the setting is post-apocalyptic. We know the tone is cheesecake battle shonen. And we know there's going to be wrestling and there's going to be, other characters and relationships. So
I mean, they're just basically checking boxes like all the way down. I mean, okay, right? It's a lot.
Right. I mean, and as Ray said, who doesn't love cheesecake?
I mean, right. There's always room for cheesecake, right?
Right. So let's see what this video tells us. Hopefully nothing that we get banned for.
Cheesecake.
Would you look at these bozos? First their car breaks down and now they've got to deal with me, Loogie. Now, could I have been a little nicer? Nah, not my style. See, when you go poking around my turf, there's a 100% chance that I'm gonna make you pay and watch TV with me. Sorry, dudes, I know you got somewhere to be, but here's the thing. You're not the star of this comic. I am. Check out these covers. You got your standard cover, classic. The adventure cover, nice. The cheesecake cover, ooh, saucy. And wait, look at me in overalls. That's so freaking cute. But hold up. There's more? The word guy says there's more. Kickstarter exclusive? Whoa, it's me, but pink? Ew, gross. Wait, no, I love it. I look like I'm one of those palette swap fighters from an arcade game. Ha ha! Jab, jab! Now buy my comic. It's fully colored, fully loaded, and with your help, fully funded. What are you waiting for? Don't let the slime slip through your fingers. Let's go!
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
First.
Wow. I thought the other one was fun and playful, but all right. At first, I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh, God, here we go. I was waiting for like, a bad Harley, relaunch or some nonsense, but this was way past that and exceeded any kind of goal that I had. Voiceover, great. The dialogue, brilliantly written. So much fun. We got everything and then some. I mean, I was waiting for the risque cover. I'm not going to lie, Loogie. I'm a little disappointed. But all the rest of the stuff, it might be buried down there. But I did like also the exclusive Kickstarter cover, put it right out there. They put it all out there. And I applaud. Again, this is a solid week so far. These two... wowzers, just wowzers.
Yeah. So the first thing that got my attention right off the bat was the voiceover, the voice acting. Like I'm gonna assume that they found somebody that, like a professional, but if they didn't, if there was just some friend of theirs, they did a fantastic job. It was obviously choreographed and scripted. Everything was lining up perfectly. Like the jab when we had the
the Street Fighter
coming on. So this is very professionally done. And so, like I said, if you make a adult themed comic on Kickstarter, you're already off to a running start. Your already chances of success have increased exponentially. But then this is taking it much further with a very professional video. The artwork looks very professional. I mean, this whole thing is coming across as very, very professional, even though it's one of the easiest ins to have success in Kickstarter.
Well, and it kind of reminded me of like Antarctic Press, that does like Warrior Nun, Ben Dunn's art style. And love you, Ben. This is like right in that ninja high school kind of feel. And I'm really, I'm normally not an anime guy, but I'd pick this up just to check it out because this looks and feels fun.
Right. I just had that picture in my mind of that meme of like, the guy turning around to check out the other girl, this Smurf turning around to check out the Loogie comic. You're like, hey, wait.
I don't see a cape on her.
So, and I got to tell you, like, I actually have, a campy, well, I don't know if campy is the right word, but like a comic that I've been trying to find the right level of adult theme for, right? You can go pretty far in a lot of different directions. And I've been trying to figure out like where I want to go with that. But I really like the way this one is coming across. Like it's adult themed, but so far I haven't seen anything that's like overtly like
over the top
explicit, right? And so like I like the approach to that, and obviously it does seems like it's doing well. Something else.
And I'm not surprised. I mean, it's so well written, that dialogue, and like you said, how they lined it up on. I mean, animation's a pain in the butt as it is, but to get everything so precise on your timeline for the audio and to mix with the images, that's well done. And it's not. I mean, you may think it's easy, but it's not. Because you're not marrying the audio to the video. You're having to create it and then sync it up. So well done.
Yeah. A little bit more about the plot is right at the very first thing on this campaign, which is kudos again. Very first section right here says, "What's the plot?" And it says Loogie rules the junkyard at the heart of the apocalyptic wasteland. When Jet shows up, Desperate to fix her broken down hovercraft, she quickly learns that the notorious Slime has no plans of letting her leave without having some fun first, like a wrestling match or a movie night. Then we actually get little quick description of which character's which there. So again, like a little bit of plot about what we're getting in this particular comic. It's another thing we've talked about many, many times is, you know, a lot of people will say, I have this epic series. It's going to be awesome. It's, you know, and then they don't really tell us what the individual comic is about. And so this one's doing a great job with that. Something else I see here that I feel like always is a nice little icing on the cake is over here on the right. It says the first campaign that they've created, but they've already backed 23 other campaigns. So that whenever I see people that, you know, have campaigns, but they haven't backed anyone else, like it loses just a couple points of legitimacy. It's like, are you just, you know, in yourself and not to help anyone else? You're never going to back my campaign and that kind of thing. And so, and I see that it makes me, you know, happy, makes me a little bit more eager to help them. So I like that.
No, active in the community is always good. We are, for all intents and purposes, a very small community. So to see that kind of, you know, brotherhood is nice, and it's a little refreshing, especially, I mean, they don't have to do it, but, you know, they do. So it's good to see.
So yeah, it's a very professional looking book, lots of rewards. So again, they've got digital rewards, and scrolling down, they've got 13 backers on the digital PDF, 37 backers on their digital deluxe PDF. So you're talking over 50 backers already just on these two digital campaigns. So this goes back to what I was saying in the last one. Like digital can help like bring a lot of new readers without them having a huge investment, and it won't. And it doesn't cost you much at all, you know.
It bolsters your numbers for sure.
Right. All right. And so then they've got a lot of different covers. And like you said, none of these are like fully explicit covers. Looks like might got a little booty shot there, but that's about it, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's tame in comparison these days. I mean, yeah.
right. We've seen some pretty explicit stuff in comics. So so yeah, I mean, and they've got their stretch goals set up. And they're trucking right along. They've got goals for 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, and even 100,000. So will they meet it? Who knows, right? Man, this again, like this looks really well put together. You know, a lot of times you can look at a you know, these adult themed comics on Kickstarter and feel like they just took the easy route because it is going to be an easier in. But this seems to have a story. It seems to have something, you know, fun, and they presented it well, and it looks really professional. So it's not just like quickly thrown together.
And I wonder if they are in, you know, the industry, or if they're part of animation or something. Because again, there's a lot of telltale signs of just how good they are. I mean, I don't want, I don't know how else to put it, but this smells of very professional, very apt people who have been doing this or in the industry. And I wouldn't be surprised that they have had their hands in many, many other campaigns or projects.
All right.
Just
so
saying.
This one did great. But we're going to have to return to the Wheel of Destiny.
We are?
Because yes, the last campaign, Maggie Thorne, number 0, successfully funded on October 1st, 3 days ago. This show's only for live campaigns. So let's go back to the Wheel of Destiny. That's why I keep it up now. That's what
she said.
All right. Let's see who our new campaign is going to be for the show. Looks like the View of the Phoenix Trees. All right. Let's see. and Emmy is on it. Got it right there waiting for me. She's massive this stuff.
Hi, Emmy.
Yes. Everybody say hi, Emmy, in the chat.
I'm surprised Emmy's not at Aya, setting up for IACon this weekend.
She might be. I mean, it's still early morning yet. They probably, I don't know when they open, but.
I want to say 11, but I don't know. I don't keep up with that. I just show up when I show up.
All right. So our last entry into the Wheel of Destiny on the comic book showdown of Ultimate Destiny. The View of the Phoenix Trees, an inspiring historic fantasy story about a Vietnamese family's struggle to stay together post-war. They've hit their goal, the $750 goal. They're at 932 with 36 backers. They still have 12 days to go. So let's see what the video tells us. All right, that was it. What'd you think? Oops.
I love the art style. There's a lot of like different elements. Jay Lee, David Mack, some great pulls and use of color, and I love the flow. But I don't know anything. I mean, there's some dramatic moments, obviously, but I don't. Okay, which war are we looking? And it's a historical piece. So are we looking like the Korean conflict? Are we looking at World War II? I mean, there's a TV, so you can kind of move it a little bit forward. But I've got more questions than I do answers. It looks spectacular. I just don't know anything about it based on the video. There's no anything. I mean, even like a small dialogue. The audio is a little hot for my taste for the music, and God, that music is depressing. But given the content,
given the context, yeah.
Given the content, I understand why it was chosen, but I feel like I'm getting, marched off to the gallows. I just okay, but like I said, the art is some glorious work, but I don't know anything about this.
Well, like I said, I feel like I got the same impression. It didn't tell me a whole lot. The one thing I did get from it was the tone. Like, definitely felt like it was this kind of somber tone between the music and the visuals of love and death. There definitely felt like there's going to be some tragedy involved, and so what you have to think about, again, going back to something I mentioned earlier about like, what are people going to get out of this for their money, right? Sometimes, people want drama. I mean, there's a whole station. It's like, dedicated to drama, right? But how do people connect with drama? It's something they can relate to, right? A character's struggles or something like that. And so I think in this case, if you really want to get, more people involved, that it's not just that, hey, this is going to be a book that has tragedy and struggle, right? It's what is the struggle? Why is it that this is going to be a hard journey? Make us care about somebody in this situation, so that we want to know what's going to happen. Are they going to reunite with their love? They've been torn apart, and now that he's on a journey to try and reconnect, or he's trying to protect them, and we want to know, are they not going to succeed in what they're trying to do? And obviously it could end in tragedy, because the dramas can be like that. You can leave it open-ended, but we need to know a little bit more about like what's really, going on so that we can invest. Now, I always like to be fair. It could be down in the section below, but in the video, we didn't get that.
No, and I mean the buy-in is there. Like you said, the drama is there, and I buy plenty of Image Comics, which is not really superhero books anymore. They've got a lot of hard-hitting drama, tear-jerking, heartstring-driven stories. I mean, Little Monsters, even though it's vampires, from Lemire is like, I mean, it's heartbreaking. But again, what's my buy-in? How does this affect me? And making a person care about a character so that you can sympathize with the loss is hugely important. So do we get that? Do we have time enough with the characters to get that attachment, to feel, okay, I'm totally vested in with these guys, and that's in this family and their plight, and what is that? So it's difficult, and I'm curious to see what we have further down. So let's scroll. Let's scroll and see.
and I think they might. Here. And real quickly, Chris says, my question was about comparing what percentage of backers come in at a physical level versus the digital content level. And I can't speak for everyone, but I can tell you that on my last campaign that just ended a couple weeks ago, it was over 50% of my backers were there for the digital, right? And in my experience, like the longer your comic goes on, I was on issue 9 during that campaign. The more risk it is for a backer. They're like, well, gosh, I might have to read all 9 of these issues, and if I buy them all physically, that's a big investment. So having the opportunity to get all 9 in a digital format, boom, immediately got a bunch of backers. And then again, in my books, whether it's digital or not, there's always a QR code that can take them to the website to get the physical version. So yeah, it's pretty big. And the other reason is like a lot of my backers were listed as what they call super backers. I don't know what number you have to achieve to become a super backer, but most of them were in the hundreds, had backed hundreds of campaigns. And imagine, how big your house is going to start looking like Smurf's background if you have that many copies.
So long. You have no idea. I can't even reach the end of either row.
Right? And a lot of people have, family that they have to make room for, and so like they're not going to be allowed to have that much space taken up with comics unless they keep it in storage. So a lot of people are going digital. So it's a good question. It's a good thing. And I definitely recommend that everybody have some digital rewards in their campaign for sure. So let's read about what this says. It says, discover a tale of love, survival, and mythic legacy. In the view of the Phoenix Trees, a charismatic, risk-taking gambler and a small yet indomitable matriarch defies the odds, finding love and creating a family in a world on the brink of chaos. But when war and persecution threaten to tear them apart, they must confront the impossible, embarking on a perilous journey to protect the ones they love. And then their echo is by the Vietnamese myth of the Dragon King. All right, so that first paragraph alone tells us a lot about what this story is about. We see that there is not only 2 people in love, but also a family.
Yep.
And then they're trying to embark on a perilous journey to protect their family. So that is the core of this story, trying to protect their family. So I think that, it's good that they have that right up at the front. They've put some stretch goals in between now that they've hit their goal. Which
is great.
And here's the thing about that. I think that it can be helpful, especially when you have big number campaigns like the last campaign we just saw. You've got hundreds of people and you have a strong hook, and these people are jumping on board pretty quickly. So now let's just entice them with more of the rewards that are coming. I like that in this sense, they didn't take a whole lot of space with it, but in this particular campaign, we've watched through the whole video. We still didn't know what it was about. So this part about the plot, basically, what's at the core of this story is about, that first paragraph, we don't want to bury that too much, right? So either keep that up towards the top and then go into your stretch goals right after it, or put it in your, the video somewhere with some audio overlay, because that's really like what you need in that video. Is like, what is the story here? I think that paragraph is strong.
Yeah, because I mean, first time in weeks, nobody buried the lead. We get why it's a little bit lower, but it's still at least in the charge. It's right up there. And I don't think the video at this point would hurt any if you did just read that paragraph, that whole tagline. I would just read that verbatim and start 10 seconds in after, you get kind of the momentum going, and just read that. And it's impactful. It's a powerful statement for the story, for the readers, for everybody to get on board. And you've already hit. So now you're trying to appeal to the rest of the readers, the rest of the listeners. So how do you get that? What's the hook? This would be, I think, enticing enough that if they heard it, because maybe they didn't get much from the video like we didn't, but they scrolled down just to see the tag. Read that into it, and I think that would get you over to the 10,000 mark. Easy.
Yep. So yeah, let's see about the rewards and anything else that we can offer input back. They currently have 36 backers at 12 days to go. So again, giving people a little bit more about the story, that's going to help going down farther. They do appear to have a digital version for $5. There's 7 backers. And then there's a digital version with bonus material at 8 backers. And then an additional version plus an exclusive soundtrack, which is kind of cool. Some music. That's cool. That's neat. Right. And then we finally get into, the printed version. The physicals. Physical version, right? So they've got several backers. I would say based on they had 34, so you got 7 plus 3 is 10. So they're at least a third of their backers are in the digital realm, right? So again, that's a big percentage of your backers. Yeah. So you're doing that right? You got your digital rewards in there. And you've hit your goal. You definitely have, something strong, but you want those numbers a little higher. A lot of people put their stretch goal pretty low so that they can be sure to get it, or not their stretch goal, their initial goal, right? $750 to $1,000. That's a low goal. That's like, I just want to make sure and hit my goal, right? Because it takes, if you're the writer and you're paying people to make your comic, you can expect to spend like $4,000 to $5,000 to pay a team to get a comic book made and printed and distributed to everybody with shipping and everything. So, maybe they already have a little bit of funding. They just want to get orders, and start getting backers, right? But obviously, we want to help them raise more backers, get more people reading the book, and so. One of the other things that I would offer as a tip is you have to start building your fan base before you come to Kickstarter, right? Sometimes, like in the case of Loogie, the appeal, that's why I say they're the easier ones. The appeal of an adult themed comic can kind of do the work for you, as far as people see that as they stumble across Kickstarter and like, oh, yep, I want to check this out. Boobies. But in the case of this, like, they're going to have to be invested just from the thumbnail. If you don't have a backing and they're on Kickstarter and they're looking at all those other campaigns, just the thumbnail alone is going to have to be enough to get them invested. And then once they're there, they're going to watch the video, and then they're going to read it. All that stuff becomes super important. My cat is like all over my desk right now. Sam.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So it's riskier. So in those cases, if that's not, if you don't think you have a comic that's immediately going to be like eye candy, we'll call, right, then you need to work on getting people invested in the story and build a fan base before you get to crowdfunding, right? So that means going out on Facebook. That means going to shows and having conversations and talking to people and going, oh, wow, that is a really good story. And then getting them on your email list so that they're excited beforehand. You can't just rely on Kickstarter to do that part.
No. And I would even, again, going back to even like Loogie, local comic book shop, hit them up. I mean, if you've got like physical prints, even do like a pre-party, you know, we hit our stretch goal, come and see us at the X and O shop and, you know, hang out with us, ask some questions. We'll be signing prints, check out the book, even make it available to make, you know, pledges there. So, I mean, there's some fun stuff to do with these particular fundings, especially if you get your shop involved.
Yeah, you know, on my last campaign, what I did is I printed off some bookmarks because bookmarks are something that are practical. People might hold on to more than just like a typical flyer. And on that bookmark, there was a QR code that took them directly to the Kickstarter campaign. And then I had some information about the campaign on it. And so that hopefully was enough to, you know, intrigue them. And then I took it to every comic book shop in town. I gave all of them a stack and said, hey, can you put these, you know, in the bags when you sell stuff? And some of them just put it on the counter and they're like, yeah, if people take it, they take it. Other people will actually like put it in the bags. But yeah, being involved with your local comic shops, as many of them as you can. Plus, you want to do that anyway. Comic shops struggle to stay in business, you know, so you want to support them too.
Well, yeah, and they look for any reason to do a promotion. Whatever helps to bring them in gives, I mean, I hate using the word exposure, but it does give you a certain, you know, gift or introduction to other comic book readers, other people that don't know you exist. I know that comes as a blow to your ego, but people don't know you exist. Just because you're on a Kickstarter doesn't mean that people have paid attention. Again, 300 plus comic book people funding last week. You get lost quickly.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a very small window, and from my experience, holding on to the microphone so he doesn't like move it out of the way. But from my experience, most comic shops are absolutely eager to have you come and set up a table, sit down, because, you know, they assume there are some people that know you, follow you, and they say, hey, there's someone signing books today. It's going to bring more traffic into their shop. And so I've never had, except maybe once, a comic shop say, you know, oh, we're not interested. Most
no,
of them
thank
are like,
you.
Yeah, we'd be happy to have you set up, you know.
I mean, I would even do like if you come and make a $5 pledge in the shop, we'll give you a signed print.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
I mean, that would probably go a long way, longer than you expect. Just say
there's all kinds of different venues. And what's great about that too is that you don't have to compete with a whole sea of other people like you do when you go to a big Comic-Con. You know, a lot of people will pay money for a table, sometimes hundreds of dollars, and their only goal is to get the word out because their Kickstarter is currently either live or up and coming, and they're like, I want to give out flyers. And so all day long, you're trying to hand out flyers. But in those cases, people are overwhelmed with all this other stuff they've been handed. And at the end of the day, they're just zombied, and they probably don't even remember the conversation they had.
No,
you do
sensory overload. That's what the bag is for. And you're like, and that bag just goes right to the closet.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, you do a local comic shop and you're the only person there most of the time. So it's just, you know, it's a smaller crowd, obviously, but it's a more, you know, one-on-one conversation kind of situation. Every person that comes in and stops, you're going to have a conversation with. And those are the kind of backers that you want.
Yep.
Right?
Much more focused, much more directed.
I built up my fan base doing that. Slowly, surely collected their emails, gave them free stuff, all kinds of stuff. So hopefully you guys benefit from those tips. But now it's time for us to pick one of these campaigns to support and throw our money at. So which one is it going to be? put your comments below which one you would pick. And while we decide and make our choice, I've already made my choice.
I've already made mine.
Okay. I got to get this cat off of here. I'm sorry, buddy.
What's Dean's choice this week, huh?
Yeah, he is really, really persistent about staying on the table. Like I'm trying to shoo him off. He just turns around.
He's just like,
Sam,
feed me, Seymour.
I don't know. I think he wants on my lap.
Oh, yeah. Your Professor Claw closing? Yes.
Yeah. All right. I've decided. You've decided. So, drum roll, please. Oh, we lost him. I'll do the drum roll.
Do the
Just
drum
realized
roll.
we lost him. We lost our person.
Super producer Ray is dead. He just got booted.
Sam is actually hitting the buttons on the mouse right now, so I'm trying my best. All right, here we go.
All right, we kind of had the same design this week in mind set.
So I had to go with that. It was just very professionally done based on what we do at the show and which one really intrigued us the most. That one had everything, all the boxes checked. So in the comments section,
I can't say enough about how well they presented it. That whole package is excellently done. I'd pick it up off the shelf. That's a shelf pickup for sure.
It took me half a second to realize what he was typing there. This is calculator code.
Oh, boobs.
Mm-hmm. All right. So boobs went out this week.
Boobies. It's all about the boobies.
All right, guys. If you want to check out my comic, you can support this show by buying my comic at actionlinestudios.com. Or you can subscribe to the channel and at Matt Campbell Art on YouTube. You can also enter your campaign at Action Line Studios Facebook page. It's Facebook.com/Action Line Studios. For next week, as long as it's live, a campaign, it's not a store, you can enter and we'll enter it into the Wheel of Destiny. It doesn't guarantee it'll be on the show. Destiny decides that. But definitely want to enter it as many times as you can, increase your chances. And Smurf, where can they find you?
You can find me on 5280geek.com, Facebook 5280geek, Instagram 5280geek, YouTube 5280geek, and our podcast Weekend Geek Update is available on all the major podcasting platforms.
All right. Well, with that said, we are out. You want to see us out, sir?
Well, thanks. We appreciate all the submissions, but in the meantime, run fast, laugh hard, and always be kind. Good night!